Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Screen Chronicles. I'm Steve, and this is Colbstone. Say, can that lad be I? And today we are talking about season 6 of Outlander, episode 1.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. We've as the fans say, we have gone through some Droughtlander, some period without the Outlander, and now we're back. First episode. And it was like an hour and a half long. It was a longer one.
Like hour 20-minute long episode, which was nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna just give you a spoiler talk today, a little recap, some of our favorite moments, what we thought about the episode.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, let us know what you thought. So if you haven't seen the show, I'd say don't listen to this yet. If you want to listen to our other Outlander talks, where we do give a spoiler-free review before the full season talk, you can do that. But we're gonna go episode by episode for this season
as they come out.
As they come out,
you know.
So we're gonna get into some spoilers. We might do a spoiler-free review thing at the end too.
Yeah.
I would say if you haven't seen the show, turn back now and listen to the other ones.
But without any further ado, spoiler warning, you've been warned. We're going to jump into this. Steve, what did you think of the first episode, man?
I thought it was pretty good, a pretty good set up episode.
I would say it was a setup episode for sure.
A lot of drama and stuff going on. We start out the episode, we actually get to see Jamie back at the prison that he was in season 3.
Which I was not expecting to start there.
I wasn't either.
Which was cool to kind of see a little bit more of him becoming the guy McDoo at the Ardsmuir prison there.
Yeah,
so I'd like to see a little bit of that more, because I think that was shortly after he got there, right?
Yeah. When we saw him in season 3 there, he had already been established as the leader of their group, going on. So we got to see some old characters too.
Leslie
was there, and we got to see them back alive. We didn't see Murtaugh, unfortunately.
That's true.
Wouldn't it be great if we saw Murtaugh
Kept
here?
Thinking we were going to. When does he find Murtaugh there?
I mean, we saw him there like right when we first were introduced. He was sick though.
Right. So maybe he is there. He's just in the prison, and
maybe he's just sick, hanging out still. The big thing that that flashback was setting up was this other character, John Christie, who actually shows up at Fraser's Ridge.
Tom Christie. Yeah.
Tom Christie. Sorry. Yes. And because Jamie had sent out a invitation to everyone who he went to prison with to come live at Fraser's Ridge, and of course he just couldn't leave off the name of this guy who's clearly going to be a problem this season. And and
maybe just take him off the mailing list.
You know what? I recognize.
And then if he contacts you, just be like, oh, we have no idea how that didn't get out.
Sorry.
It must have been a glitch.
A glitch? A quill error, probably.
Oh, sorry. I think we forgot to quill that box.
Oh, yes, we didn't quill your box. You know where we've seen this guy before. I looked.
Yeah, I had to look it up.
It was the
movie. Million things.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of shit.
Oh yeah? What else is he in?
He's he's in Merlin for like an episode.
Oh, okay.
He's not the only familiar face from Merlin we see this episode.
I was gonna say, yeah, his son,
by the way.
His son was Mordred.
Dude, when his son showed up, I was like, I know that face. But it didn't click with me right away.
Yeah, I think he's taller. I mean?
He's taller, he's older.
Yeah.
But his face has not changed at all.
No.
But anyway, back to Tom Christie.
When I first saw him, I was like, "Oh, is he from this night movie or something?" But he was one of the starship people in The Last Jedi.
That's right.
And he was like, "Fire!" Like he has like such a brief scene. But I remember like thinking like that guy. Now he's a badass Empire dude.
Yeah. Look at his Wikipedia, his IMDb, because he's been on a bunch of stuff we've both seen.
Oh,
not like as like a main character, but as a bunch of stuff.
Mark Lewis Jones.
He was in the 2010 Robin Hood, Last Jedi.
He was in Chernobyl, which you saw, right?
Chernobyl. Okay, so maybe things I've seen. He's in Chernobyl.
He was in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game. I was in The Old Republic too.
Yeah, the dude's been busy. The dude has been busy. Walking Dead. Anyway, He's pretty good in this. And when we first meet him at the prison, he is the right-hand man of the prison warden, the British guy who's in charge.
Governor, even, I don't know.
Not only is he the right-hand man, but he has this secret handshake.
He has the Freemason.
He just claps up with him. No, but he does this cool, like weird, like tapping
the thumb
like, I don't know. It was very and they're both like looking at each other like, let's be secretive about this.
Very secretive.
And Jamie's just staring at them. What was that? What'd you guys just do? But you know what it was? And I'm excited about this aspect of the show, is that was a Freemason, like secret sort of society Freemason handshake thing. We know the history of the Freemasons as a secret society. And I wonder how deep it's going to go into this, because it turns out that Jamie, who picked up on that super secretive handshake,
super obvious. They were like doing this with their hands.
Yeah, and they're both like looking at Jamie to make sure he didn't see. And Jamie's just like, I'm still here.
I'm 2 feet away. I'm like
Jamie comes back later, is like, I saw that, and I want in.
I want in.
But Jamie sort of people already respect Jamie at this prison because he's read Jamie. They're like already calling him McDo. He stands up for the guys, and slowly he rises to being the man now. Right?
As he does everywhere he goes. He usually ends up taking charge.
And he basically tells the British guy, like, look, the guys are going to listen to me. You know, so you should make me a Freemason. And he goes to the other guys, and I think he makes them all Freemasons. So I think there's in the prison that kind of formed this sort of brotherhood. You know, also because they were divided too.
Yeah, they were divided into the Protestants and the Catholics. You know, the people who, just like as the Jacobites were they wanted a Protestant king on the throne instead of a Catholic, or was it the other way around? I'm blanking on the right way, but it's definitely the other denomination didn't want the other one on the throne. So there was a brawl. This young man who Jamie, you know, had, you know, a bond with, that they both had, you know, relationships they wanted to get back to.
He had a great talk with him earlier. It was a really awesome Jamie. Like, God damn, I love Jamie. You know, after stuff like that he says to him, he's like, she never really leaves you or something like that, or she's always with you.
Always
with you.
Always with you. And of course, and he dies, and that's what sort of sparks it. But he gets flogged in front of Tom.
Because because what happened was, when that blind guy got killed, another prisoner, out of respect to him, I think, went and put a red tartan, which is definitely not okay, because it's a sign of the Jacobites, right?
Yeah.
So
just Scottish culture, which the English and the new British Empire, they're just trying to get rid of the Highlander way of life.
Right. And the British guy comes in there and he's like, hey, who did that?
And Jamie takes it, of course.
Of course he takes it.
Then he gets flogged on top of his scars.
What's interesting is Tom Christie is about to like blame the guy who actually did it, this old man. And Jamie, as Tom Christie starts to point, Jamie stands up. And I think that just shows the difference between these two characters.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But did we really need Jamie to get flogged again?
I mean, he can't even feel it. Like, he can't, like, he doesn't even have
so he just takes it.
He's like, all right, sure. He's like, sure, go ahead.
The guy opens the back of his shirt and he's like, oh, you've already been.
Did we already do this? Did this already?
So he gets flogged. While he's getting flogged, remember, this is back when Claire, because this is back in time. This is back when Claire was in the future, which isn't really the future to Claire. It's her original time period, but it's the future to Jamie. Because let's break this down for a second.
Let's break this down.
Claire was here. She jumped back here, and then jumped back here. So Where Jamie has just been
there. You guys understand. You
get it. You get it. He sees like a vision of her like looking all pure and perfect and like an angel basically. And
yeah, kind of like when he was at a Culloden when he was dead.
Yeah.
Or not dead.
And that would have been more recent after she left him.
Yeah. We get to see that little flashback, which I was surprised about. And then we jump back to the present.
Well, to us, it's the past. You see, we're in 2022. The show is taking place in
1773, rather.
1773. So technically, they're in the past to us.
Yes. Which is also the past for Claire, but Claire is in the past for us as well, Colby.
Right. So
this is double past for us, where it's only one pass for Claire. This is two passes for us.
Exactly.
Unless one of us goes into a pass between her past and our current present.
Only there was like some kind of number system with like 4 digits that we could identify the time period they were in.
That'd be so convenient. We'll design one.
So yeah, we jump to Fraser's Ridge. Jamie walks in to find Claire had done a partial overdose. And no, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, she might have. She made anesthesia so people aren't squirming around on her when she's trying to fix them up.
And Jamie's like, what? Like, but don't you want to feel a little bit?
Don't you want to hurt? Don't you just want the pain?
And Claire's just like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a good thing.
People will like this. But we do see actually at the end of this episode, though, that she is using this new drug she's made. Why do I keep forgetting? Anesthesia. She uses this anesthesia to actually make her to go to sleep when she starts having some nightmares.
Yeah.
Because she was sexually assaulted at the end of season 5 by the one Brown brother.
Mm-hmm. And if you remember the other Brown brother from last season, when Jamie basically went to him and was like, yeah, I killed your brother. The other Brown brother was like, well, he probably deserved it, but I'm still going to get you someday. Something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, but why? Like, you know, he's a jerk. And what he did to Claire was like so death deserving.
It was so death deserving. But understandably, Claire has, I mean, it's not just him too. She just has trauma upon trauma upon trauma built up in her life. So she has a hard time sleeping, and it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah. And then of course, then, like we said, Christy does show up to the Ridge. He's got his son and his daughter present.
Jamie's not there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jamie's not there. And Roger's there. Because remember, Roger was in. No, I'm not going to do that again. Roger's there, and this guy shows up, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And Tom Christie acting all a little sketchy, like, you know, not very friendly. He invites him in, and Roger's the one that's like, "Yeah, you can stay permanently." And I'm just like, "Wait for Jamie to get home."
Oh no! I know.
Like, why are you making this decision?
Well, he didn't see the flashback that we saw. You know. Like, he doesn't understand that there's definitely going to be some tension between their characters, as we, you know, did. Which is irony.
I'm thinking, if I'm there and I'm at somebody else, I'm maybe he's written me in as one of the important people on this land. I'm not the big boss, and some guy comes in acting all sketch. I'm just going to be like, you know what? You know, you sound like a nice guy. I just can't make that decision. That's just not, you know. But he should be back soon. Here, have some coffee.
Yeah, and it's so obvious. You know, Jamie does come back, and he does say he can live, and he ends up working with the rest of his settlers then to build a church. And I'm just like, this guy is clearly gonna use like the church and his power from that to come into conflict with Jamie, who is the leader of this land and who started this all. He built the place and he settled it and he's doing all this work. And of course, it's now this new guy who was mad because Jamie took his spot as the warden's right-hand man. He's now going to definitely try and take over this land through religion. It seems like to me is what he's going to be doing. Some sermoning, some priesting. Of course, all the nice. Jamie just keeps enabling this to happen. I'm just watching. He's like, have you ever, when he was first like, have you guys ever built a cabin before? Do you think you can build a church? If you can't build a cabin? And I was like, oh, he's gonna not show them how, and that's gonna like show like they need help. And he's like, we'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, come on, Jamie, how many times do you need to get betrayed by someone?
I know. And this, I feel like this is just so obvious foreshadowing. I mean, just the pure look on Jamie's face when he sees Tom Christie sitting at Roger's table there. And Roger's like, oh, and I told him he could stay forever. And Jamie's like, what? With his eyes. He's like, what? You said what?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Roger, always freaking things up here, man. Always overstepping. But it's gonna be a plot line this season for sure. And it already was in this episode because, by the way, young Ian is very present in this episode.
Yes.
Which is cool. And he goes out hunting with Alan, the son of Tom Christie.
Yes.
And they're just chit-chatting, and Ian's got his bow. It's pretty awesome. He's really good with it. And the other guy's got the shotgun, and they're just talking about the different weapons. And Alan's like, dude, mine's so much better than yours. And and he's like, I think Ian makes a comment about gunpowder, and the dude's like, not a problem with me. And he shows this pretty awesome, intricate powder horn.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was going to be like magic or something. There's like magical, like completely refilling, powder horns for his muzzleloader here, and I was like, okay, like, are we getting some sorcery here? He's like, not a problem, never runs out. Like I thought that was going to happen, and then when he hit it from the guys who came, that's what I was thinking. I was like, he doesn't want them to see. He has this magical powder horn, like,
but he didn't hide it very well.
No, he was just like.
Because as soon as he did that move, like the right-hand man of Tom Christie was just like, he's like, what? What are you hiding? And he whispers something to Tom Christie, and they just leave. And they come over and they're making comments about Ian being all Native American.
And they shot at them even. That's what sort of started the encounter. So I was kind of thinking then, all right, maybe Christie is a red herring for a bad guy, because it seems like Brown is definitely going to be, and his followers here are going to definitely be the bad guys this season.
There was a point in season 5 where I didn't think Brown was that bad of a guy. Richard Brown. The other one, yes. But I thought he was like, he could be like understanding and on Jamie's side.
Yeah. And it seemed like he was, even when he brought in his dead brother, he was like, this is completely understandable, but now like, I'm going to have to do something to you because this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Now it seems like he's just kind of being like just a spiteful jerk here, like shooting at them for no reason. And then later on when they, like you said, they noticed the powder horn, so they come to this party that Fraser Ridge is having later. And
there's like a British officer there too, right?
Yes. Who's now sort of Jamie's contact with the British military, and he's initially trying to resign and not deal with, because they want him to begin relations with the Native Americans, so that they can basically use them in the war against the new revolutionaries, the Patriots.
And Jamie's kind of denying it, like saying like, no, I'm not going to do that. In a more diplomatic way, though, not being defiant.
Respectfully decline.
And this contact guy, he seems like he's become friendly with Jamie, right?
Yeah,
he seems like he's cool with Jamie, and but he does work for the governor.
Yeah.
But he like kind of like, I feel like, is more casual with Jamie.
Yeah.
So
but the Brown and his crew, they do show up, and they say, your guy stole our powder horn. We're gonna take him.
By the way, Alan said he made himself. Like he said he etched it out himself to Ian.
Yeah. So he's a liar.
He's a liar. So we found out that it was stolen.
Yes, and it was because his father then tried to make him swear that he didn't take it, and he
Yeah.
couldn't. So at least he was able to not do that. At least he didn't. At least he was able to come clean then.
Yeah.
They demand a lashing then, and because it's Jamie's land, they want
Jamie
to do it.
And it's
Jamie's
kind of like,
I know how to do this.
yeah, but there's this like struggle because here you have Jamie who's like in charge of this land, and other people are coming in telling him what to do, you know?
Yes.
And it just shows that Jamie kind of being the guy in charge is not going to be so easy because of this Richard Brown.
Yes. So
and also the British guy was there too. So if Jamie like defied it, then that would not look good.
No.
If he decided not to do the lashings.
Because now Brown is some sort of policing official for the government or like safety patrol or something like that. Is what he's
patrol or something like that.
I was like, I was on safety patrol in like
public safety.
Like I had the orange sash. I didn't get to go around and be like 10 lashings to Brenda.
Oh man, if only.
10 for Kenny, please.
He stole my mozzarella stick. He does it, and yeah, I think that's sort of where Jamie's story in this episode ends, around there.
Definitely there's some obvious tension between him and the new Christie fellow. And of course, that's why they showed that flashback, is not only to introduce him, but then to say like, look, like they don't get along. And of course, now that Jamie has him there, there's going to be some problems from that. It's just like,
I'm curious too at what is Christie's motivation too? Is he really looking for just a place to start his life over, or does he have ulterior motives?
I think he does. It would be a surprise if he didn't, to me.
Yeah, because he just has acted so sketchy ever since he's shown up.
Yeah,
you know,
and he even said, you know, we're loyal to the crown and stuff. So it's like, all right, well now this is going to go against, you know, Jamie trying to be a revolutionary here. And he had like his rationale for keeping Christie was, you know, he's like, well, he might follow me because he's so stubborn, and you know, if we need to fight, maybe he'll be one of my guys. And it's like, now it's like, it seems unlikely, especially since he fainted at the sight of his own hand. You know, it seems like
everything at Fraser's Ridge was just going swimmingly.
Yes.
And then he shows up, and you already have to do a lashing.
I know. Here we go. He's a lashing. Pretty much the end of like Jamie's plotline there.
But there's something very interesting going on I want to talk about.
Yes.
With which I was not happy to see.
Yeah.
So Marcelly is very pregnant. And when Claire's putting her into bed, she notices bruising on her wrist. And my first thought was like, well, there's no way Fergus is being abusive. It can't be.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, maybe she's like a hemophiliac, or maybe that's what she's showing. But then Fergus, when he finally shows up later in the episode, he looks a lot older, even from last time, by the way. I was just surprising. He was super drunk because he's working at the still. But I don't think there's a scene in this episode where he is not very drunk.
No.
And then I was thinking, oh no. As soon as I saw him drunk, I was like, oh, don't tell me Fergus is like being violent with his wife to some degree, because that just seems so out of character for him.
I know, and I love Fergus. I love some of my favorite moments from the show, you know, was Fergus moments, like when Jamie gave Fergus his name for his marriage between him and Marcelly. That was awesome.
Yeah. And Marcelly, every time Fergus is brought up, Marcelly looks scared too. I noticed that early before Fergus comes in. She seems like,
I don't know if she looks scared or she's just kind of like, let's not talk about this. Like,
like
this weird,
there's definitely something wrong,
depressive thing that's going on with him. Because again, like mental health back then isn't understood at all. So it's just like, he's clearly having some sort of depression, and that's why he's using alcohol.
And he's had a great deal of trauma in his life too. Let's not forget. But that does not excuse him for doing anything to his wife.
No.
So
and that's like, why is he doing this? Like, he's been cool. He's been so cool.
This was so random to me. I guess he's just a belligerent drunk, and he's always drunk now. So there's a scene where he like pulls her really rough into him, like to sit on his lap, and And they have a dispute at the end of the episode, but he doesn't like apologize or anything.
No, she was even saying like, you really embarrassed me being super drunk here. And he's even like, why are you hiding me in this room? Everyone's over in the other room. He's like, well, you're gonna eat in this room and not embarrass me anymore. So, and
I hope that doesn't go any further. I hope that he's
Lizzie too.
Yeah.
When Lizzie comes in and like she just says, oh, two hands are better than one. Like just saying like more than one person, helping out is better. And of course they're all like, oh, a hand comment. Ugh. And Fergus is over there just like one hand Fergus.
Triggered.
You're saying one-handed people can't carry plates?
1773. Those jokes are not okay anymore.
Not okay. Now, one-legged jokes, we can make those all day. That's what they say.
That's not us.
That's not us.
But yeah, that's tough to see a character like that doing things like acting like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like where that's going. I hope he recognizes at some point that he's doing something wrong and turn it around, have some redemption.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
I don't want them to take Fergus in a pathway that I hate Fergus at all.
I know.
But what did you think generally of this episode, though, Colby?
Generally thought this episode was not the best Outlander episode, but a decent start to the next season. It was a setup episode. Let's just face it. It was a setup episode. It had some good drama. It had introduced, I think, what's going to be a good character in Tom Christie. I like the actor a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like actually both his kids were good too. Like the devout daughter.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Questioning about the things Claire's doing, like, oh, but that stands for Lucifer. I like that aspect. I think it's going to be a nuisance, but I think it's going to bring a lot to the show.
Yeah.
By the way, I just wanted to mention one other quick moment when, Brianna and Roger are not main parts of this episode, but there's a moment when they're in the kitchen talking to Tom Christie, and like he asks something, and they're like, "Oh, that was at another time." I can't remember what Roger says, but he says like, "Oh, that was a time ago" or something.
Oh, when he's
referring to when they were in the future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was a teacher.
It was a different time.
In a different time, and him and Brianna look at each other like,
time joke. Because if you remember, Roger and Bree were from here in 1960.
Not here.
Oh,
from that point. Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then they went to 1770, 1760, whenever they first got there.
Right.
And then they didn't go back. They tried to go back. They tried to go back.
Got blocked.
But they got time blocked. And they ended up staying in this time. And now it's gone forward.
Now the time linear.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
This way.
Oh, shit. But Tom Christie is not in on the joke because he's been here.
That bit isn't going away, people, by the way.
We think it's hilarious. Sorry if you don't. It makes us laugh, so we're going to keep doing it.
What was your favorite moment from the show?
Favorite moment from this episode? I think seeing the flashback at Ardsmuir. I didn't need Jamie getting lashed again, but I liked seeing him with that moment with the guy, and I like seeing him become the right-hand man.
Yes.
What about you?
I would say definitely that was mine as well. I think it's always cool when you get to see how someone becomes in power and it feels organic. Mm-hmm. A lot of like other like crime shows, you get to see how they sort of like blackmail people and become the boss or whatever.
Yeah. And when we found Jamie the first time, he was already the guy, and it's kind of
already the guy. Like, and it's just like, well, yeah, of course he's going to be the guy. He ends up, but at this one, it just like it made sense. It looked organic in the way it happened, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And it's just seeing, like old, Scotland, Outlander after Culloden.
Yeah, it's cool to be in Scotland again too. We talked about that before. How as much as we love it being where they've traveled to, we miss the original Scotland stuff.
Yeah. It was definitely felt like an Outlander episode. There was some horizontal tangoing that happened this episode.
Yeah, of course.
That's something.
We had the timer on how long until we get our first horizontal tango of the season.
And it was a bit. Oh, one thing I'm a little iffy on is the new opening.
Did not like the song. Did not. I'm sorry. The two singers. I didn't think it sounded good.
I'm not sure why they brought in another singer, and
the male singer.
It was a male singer, and then he does the original version of the song, which is "Say That Could That Lad Be I," because it's about Bonnie Prince Charles, when he was supposedly when he ran away, he hit as a woman, and
right. So I guess the interchangeably lad or lass makes sense in the song because
But then they use lass when they started the show to sort of represent Claire, in her travel in time to the island of Skye and blah blah blah. Again, it's just like, why did they change it? So I don't know. Maybe that's something we'll find out as the season goes on. It's supposed to represent something, but I kind of don't like that they change the theme like every so often. Like the first like season or two, that was like the epitome to me. And I liked like the American sort of colonial remix that they did last season or the season before, or both that they did.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with them changing the theme a little bit. I didn't like this one. I didn't think it sounded good.
Nah.
I'm sorry. Their voices intertwined to me just didn't do it for me.
Nah. I would say, other than just the episode being sort of a build setup episode, I would say that was really my only complaint. That was like, why did they change that? Why did they change that?
Yeah.
That's like the only opening that I watch, like every time I watch a show.
Otherwise, it was a solid episode. It certainly was probably for me in the range of 7.5 out of 10, just because not a lot happened overall.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot happened. Not like there wasn't a lot of action overall, I would say.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good, solid setup episode. I'm excited for the rest of the season.
I'd say 7. I'd say 7 as well. Solid episode. Characters we get to see again.
Nostalgia. I feel like a lot of first episodes live on nostalgia.
Yeah, a little nostalgia.
Like we haven't had this for 2 years. Like,
let's give them some Outlander-y things.
Yeah, totally.
So let us know what you guys thought. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Keep it spoiler free. We know that this season's based off of her book, A Breath of Snow and Ashes, from her series. So make sure you're not dropping any spoilers. That could happen from the rest of the series. Come on, don't do that. We don't like that. Stop it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, let us know your thoughts, what you might think happens if you don't know what's going to happen. And make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and all that fun stuff. Check out our other past season Outlander talks. We're going to be having more of those come out. Season 4, 5, we'll definitely get those out. And we're going to be going week to week with these season talks.
Yep.
And if you're a fan of The Last Kingdom,
we're doing a lot of Last Kingdom talks.
So we're going to be busy.
Gonna be busy.
We'll be busy.
All right.
So it's like we always say, Chloe?
Goodbye.